shots you've been seeing at the opening of this video were different things from around the campus of Advent Healthcare, one of the major healthcare groups here in Central Florida. Matter of fact, this is just right outside of downtown. Now, why would we be talking about hospitals on a podcast? Well, here's the reason. Remember, principles don't change, only technique and application do. So what I want you to do is to be thinking about the principles and the application in your business and how it relates to a hospital. So here are a couple of examples. For the first one is that when people go into a hospital, it's usually with one or two situations. One, they know exactly what's going on, they diagnose it quick, they know what they need to do to make the patient well, improve their health situation, and they get them on their way. Then they have other situations where they don't really know what's going on. They got to figure it out. There's some trial and error. There's some decisions that have to be made, and many times quickly, and many times without having all the facts that they would like to have. Well, doesn't that sound a lot like your business? So here's the principle. Remember, principles don't change, only technique and application do. The principle is that when people go into hospitals, they want to come out better than when they went in. And what we want is when people come into our businesses, we want them to leave, not when they leave our business, but when they leave at the end of the day, when they leave at the end of a week, they should be better than at the beginning of the week. Why? Because everybody drifts. Everybody stops doing some of those little things. Everybody starts having behaviors that aren't quite right. Everybody starts to wane on their results. And we know in those situations exactly what needs to be done. So leaders are paid to make decisive decisions. Yes, you need information, but in those situations, you don't need much because you know what the problem is. Now, what about those problems that aren't easy to diagnose? Those ones where there is a little bit of trial and error. Those where you do have to figure some stuff out. Those when you don't have all the information you need, yet you have to be able to make some quick decisions. What about those? Well, then again, leaders have to be decisive. They have to be taking some risk. They should never be reckless, but they should take some risk. Based on the information you have at that moment, make the best assumptions. You'll be right probably about as many times as you'll be wrong, but you'll be wrong a lot of times too. But every time you're wrong, you'll learn a little bit. But the goal is to make people better. Sometimes you'll make horrible mistakes. All leaders do. The key is just not to repeat them. Now, in the hospital here behind us, it's a matter of life and death. Not so much with us, but it could have something to do with your company's future or your people's future. So let me encourage you to keep this top of mind. Principles don't change, only technique and application do. Ask yourself, are my people a little bit better at the end of the week than they were at the beginning of the week? Were they coached? Were they mentored? Were they encouraged? Were they taught something? Were they helped to understand something a little bit better than they did before? That's what leaders help people do. And then when it comes to those things you don't quite know how to diagnose, get all the information you can, be decisive, and make the best decision you can at the time. And if it's not the best decision, learn from that decision, and it will be better next time. So remember, principles don't change, only technique and application do. You want to make your people better every day.